Welcome students. Welcome to the second session of chapter first, that is the living world, adaptations and classification. So before starting today's session children, let's revise what we had learnt in the last session. So children, in the last session we had seen that there is diversity in the living world also. That means the plants and animals also. So we saw the diversity in plants. There are flowering plants, non-flowering plants. Then there are some plants which can be seen under only microscope. There are huge plants, that is the tall plants. Then there are plants which grow in water, which grow in deserts, which grow in snowy regions, right? So there is lot of diversity in the plants also. Similarly, there is diversity in animals also. So there are vertebrate animals, there are invertebrate animals, then there are unicellular animals, multicellular animals, aquatic animals, terrestrial animals, amphibian animals, reptilians and aerial, right? So then we saw children about the definition of adaptation. After that children, we saw about the adaptation in aquatic plants. So aquatic plants children, there are some adaptations which aquatic plants also have, right? Like their leaves and the stems, they are coated with a waxy layer, so that the water does not stay on them, right? The water, it moves away from there because of the waxy layer. Then some of the leaves of the aquatic plants, they are thin and slender like ribbon, so that they can withstand the fast currents of water. Also some aquatic plants, they have got air spaces in the stems and the petioles, so that they can float on water, right? So these were the adaptations of aquatic plants. Then we saw children adaptation in desert plants. So what adaptations we saw in desert plants? That the plants which grow in desert, they are either leafless, or their leaves, they are modified into thorns. So the stems, they store the food and water, and that's the reason they are fleshy. Now the stems, they perform the process of photosynthesis, whereas the leaves, they do not perform the process of photosynthesis, right? And the roots which are there, they deeply penetrate into the soil in search of water. And the stems of the desert plants, they have got a thick waxy layer on them. Also the leaves which are there, which are modified into thorns, they lose very little water because by evaporation. So this was what we had seen in the last session. So now let's see, in today's session we are going to see about the adaptation in plants of snowy regions. Now snowy regions children means where there is lot of snowfall, right? So depending upon the snowy region, the trees which grow in snowy regions are like your coniferous trees like deodar and pine, right? Here you can see on the screen, it is the deodar tree. So as you can see, the trees, they are conical in shape, and also they have got sloping branches, right? So that whatever snow, whenever there is snowfall, the snow does not get accumulated on these trees, and because of the conical shape and the sloping branches. So coniferous, you can see in snowy regions coniferous trees like deodar and pine, and these trees, they are conical in shape and they have got sloping branches. So in snowy regions you can see coniferous trees like deodar and pine, they are conical in shape and they have got sloping branches. Now because of the heavy snowfall and whenever there is extreme cold weather, such adaptations you can see. So what are the adaptations? The conical shape, it prevents the accumulation of the snow on the tree. Accumulation means the snow, it does not stay on the tree, it falls down immediately because of the conical shape. And thick bark, it helps to withstand the cold. The bark of the tree which is there, it is very thick, and whenever there is cold weather, because of the cold weather, the thick bark of the tree, it can stand firmly. So what are the adaptations for the snowy regions? That the conical shape of the tree, it helps It prevents the accumulation of the snow on the tree, and the thick bark, it helps to withstand the cold. Now we are going to see about the adaptation in plants of the forest regions. Now in the forest region, children, there are different types of trees, right? There might be tall trees, short trees, climbers, vines, all different types of trees or plants you can see in the forest region. So in the forest, children, you can see diverse variety of trees, shrubs and herbs. Now all these plants, they compete among themselves for sunlight. Also you can see climbers and vines in the forest region, right? So all the trees, in between them there is a competition for getting the sunlight, right? And climbers and vines, they cannot grow on their own, right? They require the support of some tree. So that's the reason they grow with they grow on the other trees, right? They require the support of other trees. So trees grow tall to capture the sunlight, and climbers and vines, they grow with the support of trees. So as I told you, these trees, they grow very tall so that they can utilize the sunlight, and the climbers and vines, they also grow along with these trees with the support of these trees. Now climbers, they have adapted by having spring-like tendrils with which they seek support from the host tree. Now host tree means the plant on which they grow, that is called as the host tree. So they have got spring-like tendrils. Sometimes you might have seen, children, yellow like wires on the trees, right? So that is called as spring-like tendrils. So the host tree means the tree on which it grows. So that was about the adaptation in the forest regions. Now we are going to see about the adaptation in grassland plants. Now bushes and grasses of diverse types are seen. Means you will see different types of bushes and grasses in the grassland region. So these grassland regions, they mostly have fibrous root, and this fibrous root, it prevents soil erosion. So if you see, children, if you go down and if you pull out some grass, right, you can see fiber like roots. Yeah, the roots are fibrous. So that's the reason it prevents soil erosion, right? And in the equatorial region, that is the region which is near the equator, there you can see tall grasses. So animals like tiger, elephants, deer, they all take shelter in these grasses. So in the grassland plants, children, you can see different types of bushes and grasses. So these grasses, they have got fibrous root, and the function of fibrous root is that it prevents soil erosion. Now near the equatorial region, you can see mostly tall grasses. Now since the grasses are tall, this animals like tiger, elephant and deer, they can take shelter in these grasses because they are tall. So these animals, we cannot find out these animals in this tall grasses. They hide over there. Whereas in the cold regions, there are short grasses. So smaller animals like rabbits are seen in short grasses. So wherever there is a colder region, you can see short grass. So because the grasses are short, you can see small animals over there. So animals like rabbit can easily hide in this short grasses. Vast meadows are found in plains and hilly areas. So meadows means, children, wherever the flowers and different types of plants you can see over there, right? Vast means it is huge. So you can find out these huge different types of plants and flowers in these plains and hilly areas. So this was about the adaptation in grassland plants. Now adaptation for ingestion of food in plants. Ingestion of food means intake of food in plants. So here you can see on the screen, it is the picture of the Cuscuta and Venus flytrap, right? These are also the plants, but these plants, they cannot prepare food on themselves, right? So that's why they are called as heterotrophic plants, right? Now you can see children, I had told you about the spring like tendrils. These are your yellow spring like tendrils, right? So let's see. Most of these plants are autotrophic. Now children, I hope you all know what is autotrophic. Autotrophic means the plants which can prepare their own food, right? Mostly the plants are green in color, and those plants which are green in color, they can mostly prepare their food. So autotrophic means these plants, they can prepare their own food. Now some plants like dodder, cuscuta, which is leafless, has yellow wire like stems. So as I showed you the picture, the cuscuta, that is which is also called as dodder, it is a leafless plant, and it means it does not have leaves, and it has got yellow wire like stems, which I showed you just now. Now since they have no leaves, they cannot perform photosynthesis. So they absorb the nutrients from the host plant. Host plant means again the plants on which they grow. So they depend upon the food for the other plants, right? So as you all know that most of the plants, they are autotrophic. That means they can prepare their own food. But there are some plants like dodder, that is cuscuta, which is leafless. It does not have leaves. It has got yellow wire like stem. So since it does not have leaf, it cannot perform the process of photosynthesis. So it absorbs the food or the nutrients from the host plant. Host plant means the plant on which they grow, right? So they are dependent on the other plants for food. Now children, we'll see about the fungi. So you all know children, fungus, where it grows, or mostly you can see it on the bread or on the chapati, right? So these fungus, they have got root like fibers, and this root like fibers, they help them in the for the absorption of food. Now fungi, it cannot perform photosynthesis because it does not contain chlorophyll. So they obtain their food from the starchy foodstuffs, right? On the food which they grow, from there only they absorb their nutrients. So fungi, it cannot perform the process of photosynthesis because it does chlorophyll is absent in them, right? So they have got root like fibers, and from these root like fibers they absorb their food, right? So they absorb the food from on which they grow. Venus flytrap, Drosera, that is sundew, pitcher, these are deficient in nitrogen. Deficient in nitrogen means they do not contain nitrogen. So they consume insects to fulfill their needs of nitrogen. So these plants, what they do, they eat the insects, and by eating these insects, their deficiency of nitrogen is gone, right? So they get nitrogen by eating these insects. So plants which are nitrogen deficient are usually insectivorous plants. So insectivorous plants are those which eat insects, right? That means they are nitrogen deficient. The deficiency is there in these plants. So these plants, they have got structural adaptation to attract insects and hold them captive. So what is the adaptation of these plants? They have the ability to attract the insects. So they trap these insects and they hold it and they eat it, right? So Venus flytrap, Drosera, the pitcher plant, these all, they do not contain nitrogen, right? So for absorbing this nitrogen, what they do, they attract the insects and eat them. That's the reason they are called as insectivorous plants, because there is nitrogen deficiency in them, right? So students, let's recap what we have learnt in today's session. So in today's session children, first we saw about the adaptation in snowy regions, adaptation of plants in snowy regions. So since it is a snowy region, the coniferous trees like deodar and pine grow over there. Now because of their conical shape and the sloping branches, the snow, it does not get accumulated on the tree, and the thick bark of the tree, it helps to withstand the cold. Then children, we saw about the adaptation in the forest regions, adaptation of plants in forest regions. Now in forest region, different types of plants grow, right? So all these plants or the trees, what they do, they compete among themselves for the getting the sunlight. And climbers and vines, what they do, they take the support of these trees or plants, and they also get the sunlight, right? Then children, we saw about the adaptation in grassland regions. So in grassland regions, you can see different types of bushes and grasses, right? So since these grasses, they have got fibrous root, it prevents soil erosion. Now near the equatorial region, the grasses are tall, and that's the reason animals like elephant, tiger, deer, they can hide in these tall grasses. Whereas in the cold regions, there are small grasses. So small animals like rabbit, they can hide in this small grasses. Then children, we saw about the adaptation for ingestion of food in plants, right? So now there are some plants which are autotrophic, means many plants are autotrophic, that means they can prepare their own food. But there are some plants which cannot prepare their own food, like cuscuta. So it is a leafless plant and it has got yellow wire like stems, right? So what it does, it depends upon the other plant for food on which it grows. Then similarly, we took the example of fungi. Now fungi also, it does not have chlorophyll, so it cannot perform the process of photosynthesis. So it absorbs its nutrients from the food which it grows. Then we saw about the plants which have deficiency in nitrogen, like Venus flytrap, Drosera and pitcher plant. So what these plants do, they have the ability to attract the insects, and they consume these insects, and that's why they are called as insectivorous plants. So this was all about the adaptation in plants. In the next session children, we'll see about the adaptation in animals. Till then, goodbye.